Hi, this is Doug Zinter of Caldwell Manufacturing. Today we're going to give you a few tips about installation methods that work best with our new Roller Tilt Elite product. This is a new development for us, which has a die-cast cam for better tie-in. It has some space in the case to allow easier insertion of the pivot bar, and overall it's an improvement on previous systems that we've had. The first aspect that we want to talk about has to do with what the proper extension is for the pivot bar fitting into the cam in the shoe. Now, certainly from a technical standpoint, we will help the fabricators with this locator dimension, and we can define it specifically for you. But just to give you some kind of an idea of what's taking place here, is we really want to have significant penetration of this pivot bar into the cam, so that once it's established extension in the sash, it's going to drop in pretty close to the middle of that cam. We're looking to have a fair amount of free play in this section for this pivot bar head to float. That allows engagement between the carrier and the sash corner to happen pretty easily. All right, so a moment ago we showed you the head of the pivot bar in the loose cam. What it looks like in the carrier assembly itself is that the cam, of course, is buried within the shoe, and above the top of the cam there's actually a space that's designed to allow the head of the pivot bar to get into the case and drop down cleanly into the cam, where it's then tied in strongly. That's the target that you're looking for as you go to rack the sash in place and insert the cam, is you're trying to hit that hole that's up above the cam. A deliberate part of the roller tilt design is that when the pivot bar is inserted down into the cam, operating in the window, the pivot bar head does not come free of the case, but instead it just bumps into an upper wall. So when consumers are cleaning glass and utilizing the part, it doesn't disconnect from the window accidentally. To follow on a little bit further, we actually have an optional part which will disable takeout 100%, and it's a piece that we call a tamper lock. We'll demonstrate how that works right now. Once the pivot bar is placed into the cam in the shoe, we then insert the tamper lock and snap it into a hole in the top of the case. At that point in time, any takeout is completely disabled unless you remove the tamper lock. That's done by peeling from the top down, removing the tamper lock, and then at that point it's possible to lift the sash up. Now what we're looking at is the roller tilt system installed in a welded window frame. What we're showing here is the loose component. It's installed into the jam pocket prior to the frame welding. At this point you're seeing it that it's been the screw in the bracket has been tightened down, and the cartridge is holding in place. Our next step is to actually pull the shoes down slightly and unlock them. During the installation method, what we have to do, since the shoes should not be placed absolutely level, the shoes on the left side and right hand jambs should be staggered slightly, so that when the sash is installed, it's installed at a slight angle, and we'll show you that later. One of the things I wanted to point out to you right now is that when you're unlocking the cam, it's very important to try and unlock that cam so that the throat opening of the cam is fully oriented in the upward position. This gives you the most freedom for dropping the pivot bar into place. What we're going to show you now is just a pivot bar by itself being inserted into the cam of the shoe. It's still a full cutaway, so you can easily see the action of the head of the pivot bar going into the cam of the shoe. That's what we're going to do with the sash. That shot's a little bit harder to show in a video, but you'll see from this that that's the the action that we're trying to do. Now this is just a repeat of the sequence that you saw before, except this time we've got the pivot bar installed into a sash. And so now look at what the action, how the action appears. Pivot head goes in, and we rack the sash down into the cam. That's the action that you're looking to accomplish. Okay, one more time. We're going to drop the sash into the frame. The low side pivot bar goes in first. Find the hole in the case, stick it in. Opposite side, slide down the face of the carrier, find the insert point. Once you're in the cam, a gentle press downward to square it up. Close the sash and square it up. Operate it. Sash is installed. Quick and easy. With the sash installed, if you would like to use the optional tamper lock, it simply is inserted at this point. Rotate the sash downward so that the bottom rail has cleared the face of the carrier. Insert the bottom end of the tamper lock and snap it into the case. That locks the system totally together. Now we are going to show sash removal. Quite honestly, we don't encourage homeowners to do this. They don't need to remove the sash. They just need to tilt the sash in and clean it, and then return it to its operating position. But for factory and installer needs, the sash can be easily removed by reversing the previous steps. Here is a key hint. When you tilt the sash in, go past 90 degrees, and then come back up to it. This opens the cam squarely to the carrier body and allows easier lift out of the pivot bar. If you have installed a tamper lock, remove it first by peeling the part down from the top. If you do not have a tamper lock installed, we're going to push the sash down on one side, allowing the opposite side to ride up and out of the cam in the carrier. That creates clearance to lift the sash out completely. It happens very quickly and easily. Let's go ahead and reinstall it and show that motion one more time. Reinstalled, down slightly, square the sash, close and operate the sash. And I'll let our demonstrator go at a normal speed for taking that in and out. Remember, he's going to go past 90, come back up to it, and now it's a quick action. Down and out, clearing the opposite part and lifting out. So thanks for your time and attention. As you can see, that this is a simple and easy to use system. With a little bit of practice, it becomes second nature. And we encourage your good experiences and success with Caldwell roller tilt.